Hey everyone, it's Joric. Welcome back. I hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. Question that comes up often because people find my videos because we lived in Portugal and I still talk about Portugal is what is this NIF all about? And it shows up everywhere. It's like the first thing I got to get if I'm considering a move there. So I wanted to just take some time for those of you that are not aware or are watching this video, just thinking about maybe you're going to move to Portugal and discuss what is the NIF, what is it used for, and how can it benefit you potentially if you're a taxpayer. So the NIF is basically the national fiscal number that Portugal will assign you. It's also referred to as a contribuint. That is something when you're using it, you may say that as opposed to the NIF or the tax ID. Those are different words that can be used that people can understand. What do you use it for? Virtually every purchase, anything that you do, think about if you're buying property, if you're renting property, opening an account, you're buying stuff at the grocery store, you're buying stuff at the home goods store, you're buying a couch, you're buying a car, you're buying potato chips, anything that you can think of that would be a purchase, you would utilize this NIF because then that will help calculate, throughout the year, all of those expenses, the taxes, if you will be on the government website. And at the end of the year, you can do a reconciliation and you can see just how often, one, you've used the NIF and what you've used it for. They kind of create a pie chart on different types of areas, whether it be like healthcare, there's some automotive, some beauty, where if you are a tax-paying resident in Portugal, so you plan on moving there and you're going to be there and you're going to be a tax-paying resident, you're going to want to use this because as you use it for everything that you can imagine, so I'm just going to go through a few other things. So if you receive income at all, you're going to use your NIF. If you're those of you students enrolling in a Portuguese university, you're going to use the NIF. Setting up utilities, I forgot about that. All of the utilities, water, electric, gas, phone, internet, you name it, you're going to be known by your tax ID or your NIF number. It's similar maybe in the United States. Often you're asked about social security number, and of course you're going to keep that private. Unlike that, in Portugal, you're going to memorize it right away because you're going to use it so often. And it's something that if someone else uses your NIF, it only benefits you potentially come tax time if you're a tax-paying resident. But any type of contract, any type of purchase is going to have your NIF or your contribuent attached to it. So it's going to be, again, probably the first number, 9-digit number, first thing that you're going to remember and memorize as you're starting the process to get to Portugal, because it's essentially the first thing that you need to open an account, to fill out an application, to do anything for a D7, D8, a work visa, you name it. Got to have that. So come tax time, so as I'm making this video, it's a new year. And in doing so, you can look at, when you log into the government website, the IRS website, and the finance website, there'll be a list of receipts. And you might have a few, you might have hundreds that you can go through, and you might need to classify them into certain categories because there's a percentage of these expenses that can be deducted come tax time on your Portuguese taxes. Now, if you're not a tax-paying resident in Portugal, then you still need to have your NIF. You still need to apply and get one because you need it to open accounts and go through the immigration process. But you may not necessarily use it because when we were meeting with other expats, there were some that were not filing taxes in Portugal, so they were meaning they were there for just a couple months out of the year or 4 or 5 months, so they didn't use they have their NIF or their tax ID, they just didn't need to use it. For those of us that were there year round or most of the year and tax paying residents, we wanted to make sure that we didn't forget it at any point in the process when we were we put the NIF on the receipt when we're at the restaurant, put it on every type of contractor agreement. We would use it when we're going to the grocery store, to Pingo Dos, or we're going to Continent, Leroy Merlin, which is sort of like the home goods, the home building store throughout Europe. We'd use it everywhere because we wanted to make every advantage, or take the advantage of, okay, if this is something that might help us, a percentage of these expenses can help us come tax time, we used it. So it was even getting fast food, ordering out. My wife got her nails done and got her hair done. When I went to the doctor, oddly, when you go to the doctor and you sign in, we had private medicine, we were using the CUF system, CUF, and the hospital closest to us was CUF Tejo in Lisbon. And when you went in for your appointment, you typed in your NIF, and that gave you your little card to say, or your receipt saying, here's where the appointment is and here's when the appointment is. So you're going to use it for everything. It's going to be synonymous with your life in Portugal. And there's ways to benefit you if you are going to be paying taxes in Portugal. So that's the NIF in the short. You're going to use it. Hopefully, you need to have it for anything that you're going to do in Portugal, especially if you're going to try to immigrate there for any type of visa. You'll use it, and hopefully, for those of you that are tax-paying residents in Portugal, you'll be able to use a percentage of those expenses that you've used your NIF throughout the year to be able to save a little bit on taxes. Hopefully this explains it. If you have a better way of explaining, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. As always, thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your travels.